I am happy to present to you a tea full of real fruits, aroma, and flavors. You can prepare it at home and store it as long as you need. You can enjoy every sip and every spoon full of fruit that you decide to use for this tea. What ingredients I use for fruit tea? It often depends on the season of the year when I prepare this fruit tea. I am showing you my recent set of fruits ingredients: plums, blueberries, pears, mandarins, grapes, figs, and apples, and also limes. Then, for more special flavor, I combine different spices: star anise, cinnamon powder, cloves, cinnamon sticks, sugar, rum, and honey. The fruit should be cleaned and then cut into small pieces. I usually have one fruit as a fruit base that has the biggest volume, and most of the other fruits are about half volume of the fruit base. My base for this tea is apples. I recommend using at least 4 different fruits for this tea. When all fruit is cleaned and cut into small pieces, I am ready to start combining fruit and ingredients. Since I have enough fruit to prepare 2 baking trays, I start with the bigger tray. Baking trays should not be shallow since fruit will release some juice. I put bigger halves of each fruit in the bigger tray. I try to spread fruit evenly on the tray, otherwise I will stir fruits a little so they are evenly distributed. I slightly alter the seasoning in each baking tray. I want to get 2 slightly different fruit tea flavors. In both baking trays, I add 1 star anise, juice from 2 limes, about 6 to 8 cloves, and 1 cinnamon stick that I cut in half. Then in the big baking tray, I add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder so the tea from this tray will have more cinnamon aroma than the other one. As for sugar, similarly as with fruit, I put bigger half in the bigger tray. I would not go lower than 250 grams of sugar for 1 baking tray. Indeed, in my case, the bigger tray got 275 grams of sugar and smaller tray got 250 grams of sugar. I tried lowering sugar, but it did not work for me. I ended up adding more spoons of baking tea in a cup of tea to get more flavor. I mix well everything with a spoon. In the smaller baking tray, instead of cinnamon powder, I add 2 shots of rum. I am not adding honey in this stage yet. I bake 2 trays together in a preheated hot air oven at 150 degrees Celsius for 60 to 80 minutes. The texture of the fruit should be a little bit dense before you take the baking trays out of the oven. It means that baking time depends on what fruit is used for tea and the amount of juice fruits contain. I also stir twice the fruit during baking. As soon as I take the tray out of the oven, I start filling small jars with hot baked fruit. I do not take both trays out together since I want hot fruit being filled in jars. I put couple of spoons of fruit in a jar, then add 1 teaspoon of honey and so on. When jar is full of fruit, I close it well, then turn it upside down and let it cool. This should ensure that fruit will not get spoiled. I repeat this process until I use all baked fruit and fill prepared jars. In case baked fruit was not hot while filling in a jar, I recommend putting such jars in a pot of boiling water about 2-3 centimeters from the bottom and let it boil over low heat for about 20 minutes. I often recycle jars from other food. In such case, to make a jar with baked tea more appealing, I decor it with fancy tissue papers. If you like this recipe, give it a like and do not forget subscribing for more posts. Enjoy your baking! Delicious aroma, and let's taste. Yeah, it's delicious.